I'll recognize Mr. Barletta, or Mr. Barletta for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Secretary Chao, thank you for being here today to talk about the President's infrastructure proposal. I commend you, both of you, you and the President, for recognizing how important America's transportation systems are to maintaining our world-class economy. I'm going to begin today by venturing a bit outside what we traditionally think of when we talk about infrastructure. Last week, following the tragic shooting in Parkland, Florida, I called for U.S. schools to be added to the current categories of critical infrastructure. These 16 sectors are considered so vital to our nation's well-being that the federal government works with state and local partners to ensure their security and resilience. I believe our schools should be the 17th critical infrastructure. Secretary Chao, what ways can the Department of Transportation assist in ensuring our schools are treated like critical infrastructure and our kids get the protection that they need? Surely if we treat our banks as critical and we defend bureaucrats at the Department of Education with armed security guards, we can deem America's children as critical as well.
This is obviously a devastating blow to our country. And as you have seen on television, the President has held meetings with survivors, their relatives, parents and relatives who've lost their loved ones. This is a devastating blow, and the President feels strongly, very strongly, keenly about this issue. On the issue of infrastructure, and including hardening schools to be part of the infrastructure proposal, I will bring this back to the White House and to the President.
Great, thank you. I think that's something that we can all agree on as we debate all these other issues. If people can't get into our schools, they can harm our children, so thank you. I was pleased to see that the White House's proposal included a section on workforce development. Back in December, I chaired a hearing in the subcommittee on economic development that examined ways in which the opioid crisis is impacting the workforce and economic growth in the Appalachian region, which includes my home state of Pennsylvania. What we've seen is that individuals in this part of the country who are 25 to 44 years old experience mortality rates 70% higher than the non-Appalachian states. Typically, this group includes Americans in their prime working years, which has created a significant challenge to economic development in the region. Recognizing how important a strong workforce is to rebuilding our infrastructure, and knowing that opioids are devastating that workforce, especially in rural areas, which the administration has targeted as a critical area of investment, can you speak to how the infrastructure proposal will help address this issue?
Well, it's a huge issue, and Secretary Acosta in the Labor Department has responsibility for the workforce development, workforce retraining part. The infrastructure proposal hopefully will spark new buildings, which will yield good-paying jobs, and we probably will not have enough skilled trades workers to be able to address all the infrastructure needs when it finally gets all going. So the workforce training and retraining part is important. And your idea about including or somehow working with these communities and populations of people who will certainly be benefited by this turning their lives is something that, again, I'm very interested in personally as a former Secretary of Labor, and I will bring that back also to the White House and to Secretary Acosta.
Thank you. Thank you for your work. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. Now recognize